Emilia-Romagna, Italy. Autumn 1974 is unfolding, painting the fields in shades of ochre and gold. Amidst the peaceful rural landscape near Castelleale, in the province of Romagna, life follows its ancient rhythm. But in mid-November, as evening fell around 5:30 p.m., the veil of normality was about to be torn by an event as bizarre as it was inexplicable, starring a solitary witness. Giovanna Sensoli, a local farmer whose routine would be permanently marked by the impossible, prepared to delve into one of the most unique encounters in Italian ufology, the strange case of the flying man of Castello. Giovanna's workday was coming to an end. The sun began its farewell on the horizon, casting long shadows across the property. While tending to the animals in the pen adjacent to her house, an unsettling feeling began to arise. It didn't come from her, but from the sudden, inexplicable behavior of the creatures around her. The chickens were clucking in panic, running haphazardly, seeking refuge in any dark corner. The rabbits, usually docile, were equally terrified, cowering, eyes wide with fear. It was a silent alarm, a sinister omen emanating from animal instinct. Intrigued and apprehensive, Giovanna scanned the area with her eyes, searching for the cause of this collective panic. It was then she noticed some birds weren't running, but staring intently upwards towards the darkening sky. Instinctively, Giovanna raised her gaze, and what she saw defied logic and gravity itself. Suspended in the air, hovering silently at the height of the house's roof, a mere 4 meters, about 13 feet, away from her, was a man, or something resembling a man. He wasn't falling, nor was he supported by any visible means. He was seated upon a strange object, a kind of box that swayed gently back and forth. The being seemed to scan the surroundings as if searching for something specific. The figure was imposing, about 2 meters, around 6.5 feet tall. He wore a one-piece suit, extraordinarily shiny, adorned with enigmatic patches of green, red, and white. On his feet, he wore something resembling ski boots, but with a peculiar shape, featuring square toes and square heels. His face was hidden by a dark helmet with a visor, making it impossible to discern his features except for the eyes. They were eyes that, according to Giovanna, looked strangely familiar, more or less like ours. For a fleeting moment, their gazes met. A moment of silent, incomprehensible connection between two worlds. The floating object, the box, measured approximately half a meter, about 1.6 feet, in height and width. From it emerged a rod with colored stripes, perhaps a control lever, and from that unusual apparatus emanated a sharp, piercing hum that Giovanna could hear with crystalline clarity, breaking the tense silence of the dusk. The reality of the sight was overwhelming. Disconcerted, perhaps seized by a primal fear, Giovanna cried out for her mother, who was inside the house. Once, twice, several times, but help didn't come immediately. Perhaps disturbed by the cries, the flying man began to move. Slowly, he drifted eastward, crossing over the property's threshing floor. That packed earth area used for processing grain about 20 meters, approx 60 feet wide. As she followed the aerial figure's trajectory, Giovanna's gaze was drawn to another phenomenon. Coming from the north, also moving slowly eastward, a light appeared. An intensely vivid light comparable in apparent size to the full moon. The moment her eyes registered that luminous sphere, a sudden, inexplicable wave of heat enveloped her. Despite the light mist that was beginning to form as night fell, the entire surroundings, the house, the threshing floor, the fields, were bathed in a light so intense that, for a few seconds, it seemed like broad daylight. After crossing the threshing floor, the flying man didn't immediately continue his journey. He stopped again, this time hovering over a flat-topped haystack, as if considering landing there. Curiosity, mixed with fear, prompted Giovanna to approach once more. Intrigued by the entity's incomprehensible gestures, she positioned herself to get a better look. Now, they were face to face again, the distance reduced to about 3 meters, around in feet, the height of the haystack. Another moment of mutual observation, tense and laden with unanswered questions. What did this figure want? Why was it observing this simple rural property so intently? After a few moments, suspended in that silent confrontation, the flying man resumed his movement, always heading east, and the bright light, like a faithful companion or perhaps a discreet mothership, followed him at a distance. About a kilometer, roughly 0.6 miles, in that direction, on a small hill, lay the San Clemente Cemetery. Giovanna watched, fascinated and perplexed, as the two objects, the humanoid figure and the sphere of light, performed what seemed to be several slow laps around the cemetery before stopping briefly above it. It was at this moment that her mother finally came out of the house. Giovanna, still under the impact of what she had witnessed, pointed in the direction, trying to explain the incredible sight. But the distance and lack of context meant her mother saw only something indistinct. "It must be a parachutist," she commented, not understanding the extraordinary nature of the event. The mother couldn't discern details that would corroborate Giovanna's testimony. Soon after, the figure and the light disappeared from view. The night resumed its normal course, but for Giovanna, nothing would ever be normal again. The entire experience, from the animal's panic to the disappearance over the cemetery, lasted about 15 minutes. 15 minutes that challenged everything she knew about the world. The case of Giovanna Sensoli remains a fascinating enigma in the annals of ufology. A flying man in a shiny suit with incomprehensible technology observed at close range in the heart of the Italian countryside. A mysterious light that accompanies him and causes physical effects on the environment. An aerial dance over a cemetery. So many questions have echoed since 1904. Who was that entity? Was it a solitary explorer? Some kind of biological drone or something else entirely? What was its connection to the luminous sphere? Was it conducting some form of reconnaissance? And why choose that location, that witness? This account, investigated by astronomer and ufologist Gianfranco Lolino, forces us to confront the limits of our understanding. What do you think about Giovanna's encounter? Had you heard of the flying man of Castelleale before? Do you believe any important details were left out of this narrative? Share your impressions and theories in the comments below. We love reading different perspectives on these mysteries. And if you, like us, are fascinated by the unknown and want more people to discover cases like this, please leave a like on this video. It's a simple, free gesture, but it helps us immensely to continue bringing these incredible stories to you, allowing YouTube to recommend our work to other ufology enthusiasts.